My advice is I like the B markets because they're much easier to get deals in.
The tertiary markets.
And
so
nowadays,
instead of Oklahoma City, you go to Tulsa.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, so the B markets. So just less competitive. It's easier to get deals.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit harder to sell them, but if you find a fund, you're golden.
Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the Science Flipping Podcast. I am here with a good friend and just amazing investor, Vic Heredia. I even just had to ask him if I was going to pronounce his last name right, because as someone who has a Latin wife, very important, and I didn't, because it's really Heredia, correct?
Heredia.
Heredia.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
well,
close enough.
Close enough. I appreciate you coming on to the podcast,
thank you.
brother. Again, we are here at an incredible event here in Scottsdale, and so we're just giving back. I want everyone to understand the power of buyers, specifically the hedge funds. You've created an incredible name as someone who really knows how to find them, target them, and move deals to them. And so I want people to know this is real. This isn't just, for the people who've been around a long time. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about where to find them, what you're doing, and the secret to your success with these hedge fund buyers.
Yeah. Well, really, I mean, for us, that's really where it's at. We're able to sell deals at, depending on the property, 90 to 95% of ARV.
That's
which is good, right?
And are you doing all wholesale, or are you wholesaling too, or are you flipping?
So what we do, we try to be strategic. So we'll submit the offer to the fund.
Yep.
If it's a really good offer, then we'll take it.
Yep.
If it's not what we like, then we'll just try to wholesale it.
That's right.
Now, if it needs if it's considered a do not buy by the hedge fund, and it just needs way too much work, then we'll just wholesale it to a cash buyer.
Yep.
But normally, I'd say 90% of everything we do it's hedge fund and hotel.
What are some of the bigger hedge funds? And I'll name the ones that I've worked with pretty heavily across the nation, because there's different hedge funds in different cities now. Like I remember when SFR3 was heavy in Phoenix, in Atlanta. And now, I'm selling deals to them in Savannah, Georgia, in these off markets where they're not in the big markets, but they're in off markets. But who are you working with? Is it 𝐓𝐻E:R, SFR3?
So 𝐓𝐻E:R is really good because they buy based off cap rate, which is the kind of guys you want. SFR3 is great. The thing with them, they do pay a little bit less because they're fix and flip guys. Yeah. Wedgwood Homes is really good as well.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're huge. And I thought they were just in California, but now they're in 26 states.
Those are the big fix. They only fix and flip. They don't hold any of their
stuff.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah. But it's funny. I've talked to some friends that they're like, yeah, I sold a deal to Wedgwood, and they listed it as is. Yeah. So a lot of times, like I mentioned to you, depending on the offer we get from the funds, we'll actually just, we're better off just wholesaling it.
That's right.
Because we'll make more money.
Yep.
It just depends on the property.
Now, do you have direct contacts with all these funds where you call them, say, hey, we just locked up a contract? Would you guys be interested?
So they really none of them do phone calls. It's all email.
Yep.
Yeah, but initially, usually you get on the phone and try to reach out to them. So
if you were going to advise maybe someone who has not gotten into this game, right? They've been listening to me, watching my stuff on YouTube. By the way, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you need to. Vic's a good-looking gentleman.
Thank you,
sir. What would you tell them to do, right? If they're just used to the find cash buyers, which is what all gurus talk about, whatever. What would you tell them first to do as their first strategic point?
So really, I mean, if you want to find a hedge fund, so there's the ones we talked about, right? Yep. You could Google them and just find their website and submit your deals or call them, right? But the quick and easy for your market, what I tell everybody, just go to PropStream.
Yeah.
And you look at the cash buyers that paid cash in the last year. Mm-hmm. And then there's an option, it says how many properties they own. Yeah. So just enter 1,000 properties. Plus.
That's it.
So then you're going to get a list of all the buyers that pay cash in the last year. They have 1,000 properties or more. If they got 1,000 properties, that's a hedge fund.
Yep.
That's really it. And then another little secret that I usually don't give away.
Oh, okay.
If you don't, a lot of times the LLC isn't the actual buying the company.
Right.
It is a buying entity, but it's not the company.
That's right.
So what you do, you Google the mailing address. And that'll give you the result of the actual buyer.
The mailing address.
That'll give you the result of the actual buyer.
Interesting.
So that's like a pretty heavy hack.
100%. I think it's well, here's what I actually am excited about. You and I just talked about you actually teaching this more in depth at my event. Very excited about that. More information on that to come. But, one of the things that I think is really important that you understand, that you can echo and I can echo, is this is about an opportunity business.
Yeah.
When you have hedge funds, you have opportunities.
Correct.
You can wholesale it to them. You can wholetail it to them because they'll still buy it as long as the numbers make sense. You can rehab flip it to them because as long as you have a deep enough discount, you're going to make way more margin. But now it's just about how many opportunities can you maximize, right?
Exactly.
And if you have these hedge funds the way you do, you don't have to rely on Justin Colby being your buyer. I'm a great buyer, but I'm not going to pay what Wedgwood will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, opening people's eyes up to buyers are the most important part, even if you're going to flip it. Think about that for a second. Everyone talks about cash buyers, but if you're going to be a flipper, I flip, you flip. It's the buyer that we're banking our paycheck off of.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you're in a good market. Make sure there's good buyers in these markets. And no better market to be in than where these billion-dollar funds are playing, right?
Exactly, 100%. And it's interesting. I actually came across them by accident. I bought a property in Austin, and then I looked for buyers in the area, and then I found one that had 23,000 properties.
Who was that?
Oh, Amherst.
It was Amherst.
And I was like, wow. I'm like, so I called them consistently for 3 months straight, and they finally said, okay, reach out to this guy, and that's how it started.
That's it.
And then as I developed the relationship with them, they would talk about other funds. I'm like, okay, write that one down. So it's kind of being strategic, and always kind of having critical thinking is a big factor too.
100%.
So that really helped.
I love it, dude. Well, listen, I think what people all need to realize is follow the money. Right?
Correct.
I mean, what markets are you in?
So we like California. Not a lot of hedge funds there, but we like the market because
big spreads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona, Georgia, Florida, Missouri, Ohio. I mean,
shocker where the hedge funds are.
Yeah, they're like in 26 states.
They're everywhere. Now they're everywhere.
Really, and nowadays there's hedge funds now in pretty much every market.
That's right.
So you don't have to be in one of those markets to sell them. And honestly, those markets are very competitive.
Yep.
So my advice is I like the B markets because they're much easier to get deals in.
The tertiary markets.
And
so
nowadays,
instead of Oklahoma City, you go to Tulsa.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, so the B markets. So just less competitive. It's easier to get deals.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit harder to sell them, but if you find a fund, you're golden.
That's it.
So sometimes the B markets are actually better than the A markets.
And then the best part of that is go find where these funds are and choose the ones that are B markets versus the A markets, right?
Yeah.
Choose the Tulsa or the Tucson versus Phoenix or Oklahoma City.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
And reverse engineer that, guys. I mean, have you jumped on Privy yet?
No.
Okay, so Privy's it's not new, but it really is an impact because you can just go look where these people are actually buying, how much they're making on the profit of flips, and just go reverse engineer it. Do it on PropStream, do it on Privy, do it on Batch. It's all the same stuff. Just find the buyers and where they're buying first.
Yeah.
You put in 1,000. I usually put 500.
Yeah.
Right.
That works too. That works too for sure.
Just a volume.
Yeah.
You're just looking for the volume of buying because these guys buy at volume.
Exactly.
Right? They run on really thin margins.
Yeah.
Margins you and I can't buy on.
No.
They will lose a lot more money than you and I can afford to lose.
Exactly.
But, I mean, that's really the game, guys, is hedge fund buyers. They're not going anywhere. I remember you've been in the game long enough. I remember where everyone thought, like, back in 2012 that this isn't real. They're not here to make this a real asset class for their hedge fund and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Because we're 10 years in, and they're not slowing down.
Yeah, they're not going to slow down. They think the market's going to it'll balance out in 2023.
Yep.
But I'm like, are you going to stop buying? They're like, no, we're still going to buy.
Yeah. It might be a little different price, but we're going to buy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Guys, let's have everyone follow you. Where can they find you?
And my Instagram is vic.heredia, Heredia.
Heredia or Heredia?
Heredia is correct.
Heredia.
But it says .heredia. So
I love
just to
it.
make it easy for the English speakers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, make sure to find him. He is going to be speaking at my event June 24th, 25th here in Scottsdale. I'm blessed to have you speak on stage, man. It's going to be exciting.
I'm honored.
It'll be awesome. We're going to go on a much deeper dive about hedge fund buyers, where to find them, how to get to them, what do you say, how to get the deals there. So it's going to be good stuff, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
All right, guys. See you on the next podcast.